You've heard these two different words separately: stripper and Christian. But when and where would you have ever heard them being used under the same title for the same person? So I've encountered an individual who is a self-proclaimed Christian exotic dancer, Christian stripper. I want everyone to give a nice, warm welcome to the Christian stripper, Zsa'Vell Hawkins. So you're in the hospital. What happened? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Introspect Club, a club where you can learn a lot about yourself through conversations with other people. My name is Damisse, and I'll be your host. Now, this week is a very special week because we have a very, very special guest with us today. Now, the topic we're going to be discussing is a little bit unorthodox. You've heard these two different words separately: stripper and Christian. But when and where would you have ever heard them being used under the same title for the same person? So I've encountered an individual who is a self-proclaimed Christian exotic dancer, Christian stripper. And I kind of wanted to know what that really meant, right? So I dug into having conversations with her, and she gave me a good idea of what she's about. And I think it's a fascinating story, and it's a fascinating lifestyle. And I want to bring it to the audience, and maybe we all can learn a little bit. I know I will. And I hope you guys can come along to learn a little bit with me as well. But this is someone who is a devout Christian, and she's also a proud exotic dancer. She's not currently dancing at the moment because, believe it or not, when I encountered her, she's actually in the hospital at the moment, but she so kindly accepted this interview while she's in the hospital, which takes a lot of courage. But you know, if she believes in her story, she wants to share it, and this is the kind of commitment she has to that. So I want everyone to give a nice, warm welcome to the Christian stripper, Zsa'Vell Hawkins. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing, love? What a beautiful smile. How you doing? You doing all right?
I'm great. Pretty excited, kind of nervous.
You're nervous? I'm nervous. Yeah. I'm nervous too, because your story is so fascinating to me. I don't know how my response is going to be. But you're in the hospital right now. We're definitely going to dig into that, because that wasn't my initial intentions in terms of discussing your story. But I definitely want to know more about that later on in this conversation. But the main topic of this convo is the fact that you are a self-proclaimed Christian stripper. What does that mean to you exactly?
Basically, what it means is we all have a different path in life.
Okay.
However, regardless of what path you take, I firmly believe that God should still always be first in your life. And when it's meant to be, no matter what route you take, he'll pull you out of it in his due season. You know, I believe he'll let you pretty much do what you want to do until he's had enough.
So, but you're also a stripper. Do you feel like that conflicts with your like spiritual journey, with your relationship with God?
It does in a way, but honestly, I feel like it's also strengthened my faith.
Really?
Because the strip club is a very dark place. When you talk about spirituality,
yeah,
it's very dark. But the clients have proven to me that I'm a light in the dark room.
really, that a light in the dark room, which they would consider the champagne room, right? In some way, shape, or form.
No, just the strip club in general. Like the strip club is the devil's playground.
The strip club's a devil playground, and as a devout Christian, you're playing in the devil's playground.
Hey, I still keep the faith. Like, that's what I'm saying. I still keep God first at the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, I know I got no business here, but at the same time, I don't feel like my intentions are, my intentions were never to really get into it. Like, I like to dance.
Right.
And I was just like, I can make money doing this. I'm going to ask God to protect me when I go in here. Like, I'm going to go in here and just make my money, having fun, doing what I like to do, which is dancing.
Okay.
And that's just what I did.
So walk me through your journey of how you developed your relationship with God, as well as any type of religious journey you've had, across your youth up until now. How did you get to that point?
I pretty much I was brought up in the church.
Okay.
At the age of 7 years old, I went to church with an aunt one day. And after that, every Sunday I would ask my mom to take me. And she was just like, what kind of mother would I be to tell my child that she can't go to church?
Right.
Knowing that she felt like she needed to get her life back on the right track and go to church as well. So
your mom wasn't actively going to church. Your aunt brought you to church, and then you were bringing your mom to church.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So go ahead.
So at the age of 7 years old, I encountered the Holy Spirit, praying and talking in tongues and everything. So based off my God experiences, I would never stray totally away from God. Like, I may try things, obviously, with me stripping, but I will never lose my faith and lose my relationship as far as praying and my inspirational music and gospel music, just staying a positive, uplifted person at all times.
Wow. I mean, that's a very inspirational, story in the sense of, like, as a young child, usually the mothers are bringing the children to church. You were bringing your mother to church. And you were how old?
7.
You were 7 years old, inspiring your mom to go to church. Does she still go to church?
Yes, she actually still attends the same church. And
it's because of what you did for her, right?
Yep, I believe God did that through me. Kids are innocent.
And you're saying your mom had more, like, a lot of reasons to go to church. What were some of those reasons? Why do you think she needed it that much? What was going on back then?
From what she tells me now, like, she's always had a relationship with God. Like, she's always prayed and stuff, but she just didn't have, like, a church home. Like, we had our family church, but
okay,
let's be real. Like, a lot of Black people don't like to go to the small, traditional, religious family churches because you feel like everybody's looking at you in your business, judging you and stuff like that.
Right.
And nobody wants to deal with that. So the church I went to was a mega church. It's personal. Like, your relationship is personal. Nobody's judging you when you walk in. You can wear what you want to wear and be who you want to be.
Wow. I mean, I'm not religious, but I support people who with faith. I've gone to many churches from so many different, denominations just to support friends or family and such. And I've been in the kind of church you've mentioned, but I'm trying to now understand someone that has so much conviction in the house of one we call the Lord, right? How do you walk me through your journey on how you developed a passion to be a professional stripper or an exotic dancer while being a faithful servant of who you believe in religiously?
To be honest, because I don't think, like, my goal, like, I never grew up just thinking, like, hey, I want to be a stripper. Like, it didn't happen like that.
Okay.
But with me I've been a cheer coach since I was 13 years old. I'm currently 22.
Okay.
So within that time, like from 13 through high school, it's like cheer and dance and stuff like that. Coaching those things, like it was my life. But at the same time, like as I was getting older, I'm like, okay, well, and I was on the dance team. I was the captain of my dance team as well. It was just more so of I want to keep dancing, but I don't really know what route to take. I stayed home in college and stuff like that. In Lakeland, it's not really much to get into, you know, like there wasn't no like dance organizations that I could get into,
right,
that I could make money or go to competitions with as an adult.
right.
So I'm like, hey, why not? I was like, I could go do what I like to do. I could do it on my own schedule because I like to dance. I like to be the center of attention.
Okay.
When I perform, even on the dance team, like when I perform organized dance, I steal the show. If I mess up, you ain't gonna know because I'm gonna give you face. I'm gonna give you energy. So I was like, oh,
so
well, at least at a strip club, I could make money doing that.
So was that what sparked it for you? Like you didn't have an outlet to be a dancer professionally outside of being an exotic dancer in your community, right?
Pretty much.
So
the most professional that it was me being a coach. But I was giving back. Like I said, I've always given back since I was 13 years old. But I'm like, you know, I was getting into young adulthood and needed money and stuff. And I'm like, I enjoy volunteering, but I'm not making no money. So how can I still dance and enjoy what I'm doing and make money?
Right. So the strip club was an easy path for you. So was there a particular person that introduced you to a strip club or just stripping in general? Or you took it upon yourself, you walked into a strip club and say, listen, I'm good at this. Hire me as a dancer or book me for, you know, a certain amount of nights. You know, here's my resume. I don't know how that works. How does it? I'm very ignorant to this life. So you're going to have to walk me through it.
You pretty much like, okay, at more so the Caucasian clubs, yes, you have to go in there and try to like get a job. Like any other job, you have to go in,
okay,
ask for the manager, tell them that you're interested in working. As far as like the black clubs, like the ones that are in the hood, you just walk in. If you know someone that was dancing before, they kind of like just put you up on game and tell you who sells dance outfits, where to buy dance shoes at.
Okay.
And you walk in there. If you look good, they let you in, you pay the house fee, and then you work that night. So you really don't have nobody to tell you like what to do or what not to do. But you should be motivated like, hey, I walked in, I paid $75 to work. I need to make a profit. And you go in there, you just dance your ass off, literally.
So wait, so at a strip club, it's like a barbershop. You pay rent to work there.
Yeah.
And it's around like $75. Is that the case for all strip clubs or?
In Tampa area, that's pretty much like where I danced at close to home, where I would drive to every night. Because remember I said I live in Lakeland. So like in the Tampa area, yeah, actually 75 is kind of on the more expensive side. Like a lot of places you just go in and pay, well, depending on what time you get there, $25, $30, and it go up every hour. Like every 30 minutes to an hour, it goes up like $5. So like $75, a lot of people complain about that. Since the pandemic.
Oh, that's per hour.
No. You just pay that to get in.
To get in. Okay, got it.
And then you work.
Interesting. So,
but you pay that every night. So it is like a booth fee by the end of the week.
And you mentioned the Caucasian clubs. So you dance at multiple venues that serve different demographics. Is that what you're saying?
I reached out in the beginning. You asked me like, how did I find out about them? Well, with the Caucasian clubs, because I just Googled it. I just Googled strip clubs near me, and I just went to calling them and asking questions.
Really?
Yes.
And then did they hire you?
They would say, hey, come in, ask for this manager and such, and I'll go in, and then they'll kind of tell me how things work with them. Some places work on commission. Some of them, they pay their girls, or I don't know, but I didn't get into that. I felt better with let me just pay you to work tonight and I make all I make tonight. I wasn't fond of the whole percentage thing, so I don't know how that worked.
So there was a lot more red tape.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you found your way into the strip club community and you became a professional dancer. And you were how old when you started?
18.
You were 18. Did you go to college after high school?
I was dual enrolled. I've always been in college.
Are you in college now?
In high school. I start back in January.
You start back in January, but so you're actively going to school. You are actively a member of your church, right?
Yes.
And a professional dancer at the same time. Okay, that's a lot of work. You must be tired, I would imagine, because I would be.
Not even half.
That's not even. What else were you in charge of throughout this?
I did actually before I got hospitalized. I just finished doing a dance camp, so I still was a dance coach and a life mentor for teenagers. You're like
a saint with like heels on. Like seriously.
Like I literally like that's out of all the things that I do and my face in the community, literally me dancing is that one rebellious thing that's just like, you can't judge me. Like if you know who I am and you know my character, it's like, how can I not accept her?
Do people in your community see it that way?
Some do.
Okay.
Because, a lot of them do. And of course, you're going to always have the ones that throw the salt and the dirt in there.
Yeah. But my question is like, what are some of the challenges you faced as an exotic dancer, a stripper who's also a devout Christian, who is an active member of your church? What are some of the challenges you face?
Literally, like none. Like I said, the kind of churches I go to, I go in. I'm who I am. No one judges me. I've seen, I think I've seen a couple people and then like classmates or whatever at church that know I'm a stripper.
Do they know you're a stripper because you told them or because they saw you at the strip club?
Oh no, a lot of them follow me on Instagram.
Wait, so on your Instagram, you're very open about your stripper being a dancer. So they see you on Instagram and do they talk to you? Hey, I didn't know you were a stripper, or hey, that's great that you can do this, or how do they respond?
Yeah, they just compliment me. Like they'll drop hearts and beautiful and stuff. Like they really rarely ever say anything to me about dancing. Like some of my classmates or people I went to school with, like the guys and stuff, when they have different events and stuff, they just reach out and try to book me. Like,
wait, your classmates try to book you as a dancer at what events?
Like if they have like a private party or like say like someone's getting married, like bachelor parties, private parties. Oh, they having a kickback and they just want strippers there. They'll ask me, hey, you got friends?
At a kickback?
Yeah.
And they'll hire you?
Yeah.
I don't know that life. As a kickback, you're hiring your high school classmate. Like you're going up.
They'll be like chilling, wanting to have a kickback. They're just drinking and having fun. And then the phone rang at like 11 o'clock. And they're like, man, we drinking. We want some strippers. What you doing? And I'm like, well, you lucky I ain't went to work yet. Because I'd rather go do the little private events, especially if I know them.
Yeah.
You would think it's weird and awkward, but I feel safer because I know you're not going to do anything crazy.
Really?
Right. And I'm also a hairdresser. Some of them in that group, like some of my classmates and stuff, like I do their hair as well. They know I'm a dancer. They almost like can call on me for whatever.
So you're basically the Swiss Army knife of like get-togethers. Like she'll dance for you, she'll braid your hair, she'll teach your kids how to dance in the community, and she'll like pass around the communion at church. Like what's happening? You know what I mean? Like you're doing everything, right? But
pretty much.
But let me ask you a question. Are any of the members of your church also patrons at the strip club that you dance at?
I've seen them Sunday morning after being Saturday night at Truth Lounge.
Really?
And I go in there and I praise the Lord and pray and pay attention to what the pastor say and mind my business.
Yeah, but do they see you in there?
Yeah, they see me.
And do they know that you're the same woman from their church?
Yeah.
And do they ever say anything?
No.
So I'm picturing like this weird like eye contact being made, like You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they may feel weird, but I don't feel like anyone can judge me. So they give me the eye. I'm just like, hi, how are you?
really?
Just like I speak to anyone else on a Sunday.
So, okay, so those are the people from your church, right?
Yes.
What about, talk to me about like your relationship with your family, your parents, in the context of what you do in both the church and being a stripper.
To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Based off of like everything I told you and everything that I have going for myself and under my belt.
Yeah.
Of course, when my family found out that I was stripping, they were kind of disappointed, but they still support me.
Okay.
I'm not saying like they come to the strip club and spend money, but they still support everything else that I do. And I can just still be open and free and be myself. And they're just very supportive. They're just, I love you, be safe.
Really?
Let me know if you need anything. If anything go down, call my phone. So they're just very supportive of me, period.
Now, is that everyone, or is there anyone in the family group that is not supportive?
The one person that's not supportive has not even been in my life.
Who's that?
As he should have. And that's my dad.
Really? What happened there?
Pretty much like once he was released from prison, my dad has been incarcerated for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
By the time he got released, I had just graduated from college.
Okay.
With my 2-year degree. And then I had just graduated from cosmetology school.
Mm.
And the only thing he could find as a reason not to talk to me and to shut me out and reject me was that one of his nieces told him that I was a stripper.
Do you think he was using that as an excuse?
He really hated it. Like, I don't think he used it as an excuse. I think he more so I feel like he felt like he was like in less control. Like that was something he couldn't control. So
but was he always in control of you before?
No, that's the problem. He tries to control you, and I'm the child that speaks up and got my own mind. So,
but he was incarcerated for 15 years. How old were you when he was incarcerated?
I was 5 years old. I was in kindergarten.
You're 5 years old. Was he present in your life before that? Before incarceration?
Barely.
So he wasn't in your life before, and then he was incarcerated for 15 years, and I'm assuming he's out now, right?
Yes.
So during the time that he was incarcerated, there was a time where you weren't a stripper while he was incarcerated, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Were you in contact with him while he was in jail?
Yeah.
What was your relationship with him like then?
It would still kind of be the same. Like we would still fall out every few years.
Okay. And
because I still included him in everything. Every accomplishment I had, every time I made straight A's or AB on the roll or academic excellent achievements, like all of my certificates, I always copied them and sent them to him in the mail. So I did not leave him out of anything through all 13 years of school, of grades.
Really?
Yeah.
So you actively made him a part of your life?
Yes, I actively pursued him.
But you don't feel like it was reciprocated?
No.
How do you feel about that?
For a while, just like, it was a pattern. Like, it took for me to get older to realize, like, when I started dating, that I was kind of replaying the same things with guys that I was dating.
Really?
As far as, like, pursuing them. Like, if they would, pursue me first, of course.
Sure.
And give me the attention, then I would start pursuing them. I wouldn't leave them out. I would always, but after I realized that it was the same pattern, I was able to kind of address it and check it. Like, wait a minute. I'm used to this because this is what I do with my dad. Like, and so I had to put my foot down with him and let him know, look, I've been pursuing you all my life. I did not bring me into this world. So I'm going to need you to be consistent in my life, not just when you feel like it or just because you disagree with something that I have going on that you feel like you can stop talking to me and that's going to make me change my mind.
So how did he respond to that?
He started doing better.
And then what happened?
He don't like to hear the truth. Like, he don't like to take accountability. Like, go figure, felony, 15 years. You just, I don't know what it's going to take. Like, he still got things to work on with himself. And because I know that now, like, as an adult, it's just certain things I don't address with him anymore.
But then
and honestly, he was not talking to me until I got hospitalized. Like, he literally just came back into my life again as an adult once I got in the hospital. So maybe the last 4 months. And even now we don't talk as consistently, even though I'm like here and he's done better by me by like trying to talk to me, come see me and stuff like that.
But you don't trust it, and it's not enough for you at this given point, right?
It's not enough.
So you mentioned something while you were talking about your father, is you saw a pattern in how you dated men or how you related to other men that you were in relationships with, right? And it was reflective of your dynamic with your father, right? But I would also wonder, like, what is it like to date as an exotic dancer or as a stripper in general?
It's different for different people. Like, for me, it's just like, to be honest, like, I've never been in like a exclusive relationship. It'll always be like me, like, dating someone.
Right.
Like, you get into them, you just date for a while, but never deemed like an exclusive monogamous relationship. And I kind of would just like, I don't know, it's weird. They call them situationships nowadays.
Yeah.
Or like social culture is like, oh, it's better to have a bond and no title crap. And after I get tired of that, like, we don't have no title, then I'm like, okay, well, we don't need to be dating.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Do you think that's a reflection of you being a stripper or just the community of people that you are encountering?
I think it's just community of the people I'm encountering.
So even if you weren't a stripper, you feel like you'd be experiencing the same thing?
Yeah. I experienced it before I was a stripper. Okay. And I experienced it while I was a stripper.
Well, before you were a stripper, you were 17.
Well, I still was dating. Well, I was dating at 17.
I feel you, but you guys were young, right? So 17, your experience as a 17, emphasis on the word teen. You know, I dated when I was a teen, and I can't even give myself any credit for anything because I was not even a full human.
Well, I would say that my date, like, the dynamic of me dating since then, like, it hasn't really changed. Like, at 17, like, I had a really open relationship with my mom, and she really didn't like stop me from doing much. Right. So like, at that age, when I started dating at the same time, I was a senior with only 1 or 2 classes on campus. Like, I was in college full time, had a car, and I worked and stuff. So I kind of had done start developing into my young adult life. Okay.
So have you had a boyfriend since you were a stripper ever?
No, that's what I'm saying. I never had the title. I've dated, but I've never been in an exclusive monogamous relationship where I could say, hey family, this is my boyfriend. That don't mean they didn't meet him. But it's just, I was like, oh yeah, this is my little friend.
Your little friend. I would imagine like a lot of the men in the strip club hit on you as a stripper. Right? I mean, that's a dynamic that's
And I would tell them I have a man at home. I'm not interested in nothing outside of here, sir.
Really? So that applies to any guy you've ever met in the strip club?
Pretty much.
Why is that? Why is that your stance?
Because half of them are just looking for someone to treat with after the club. Okay. And I wasn't into that. So what we need to talk outside of here for?
Have you ever encountered any type of like drastic or memorable experience in the world of being a stripper that you wish you could take back or you wish didn't happen?
I want to say it was traumatic, but like definitely something that I wouldn't do again. Yeah,
What What was that?
I think I've experienced things like that maybe like twice.
What are you referring to?
Just referring to being involved with guys that I thought I could trust, but they hold up their end of the deal. So it's like, okay,
What did
like I just felt stupid. Like I felt played.
You wanna give me an idea of what you're referring to?
More so like in the dance world or in the strip world, like me being totally transparent. A lot of times, like there's guys that like have like these big connections or that are promoters or that'll say like they'll help you or know show you who has the money, who don't have the money, but it's like it's all game. So that's why I said I feel like, and then they'll try this like basically they'll try to make you feel special, like you're their girl.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, just deal with me, like, oh, just talk to me, just date me and stuff, chill with me outside of here. As long as you dating me or messing around with me, I got you. I'm gonna put you on. You gonna know these people and that people. You gonna make plenty money, but it's all game.
So why were you? If you knew it was all game, or at some point you realized it was all game, like what was really?
Oh no, it only took one time for me.
I got you, but what was in it for you? Did you actually want to spend time with these guys, or was it all about the money for you?
All about the money.
So,
well, no. One guy, he was attractive, and I did kind of like him, and I used to see him at work all the time.
Okay, all right, so that was a crush.
He was like one of the. I don't think he wanted to tell me that he was one of the owners of the club, but I kind of caught on. There was one guy that I actually was interested in, and he came all the way from St. Pete to Lakeland to pick me up. I told him, I said, look, we can date, but you have to respect the fact that I have to be back in Lakeland on these 2 days of the week for school. We did that 1 week, child.
And what
he couldn't deal with driving back and forth to St. Pete. And I'm looking at him like, from St. Pete to Lakeland, I'm looking at him like, dude, I drive to St. Pete every night just to come to work. So you're not as devoted to me as you're trying to make it seem.
Yeah.
So we can just leave it right here.
I mean, that's a lot that could get messy in a lot of ways, but no one's ever like caused you any physical harm, right?
No.
Has anyone tried?
No.
That's good.
I pretty much try to play everything safe. I do everything by myself. I never had a consistent dance partner. So with me going to all these clubs by myself, even when I would drive down to Miami by myself, I would move a certain kind of way to ensure my safety.
Is it more difficult to feel safe when you're walking around with like all kinds of cash as a stripper?
I don't know. Not really. I feel like the only time I was nervous about that was like I've never really been nervous about it. I don't know. Like I never really been scared to walk around with the money because I don't really walk around with it. I stash it in my car, deposit it as soon as I can. Like I don't try to keep the money on me. Has
anyone ever tried to take money from you?
No. I've been robbed before though.
You've been robbed before?
Yeah.
I mean, that's someone attempting to take your money.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like it wasn't. I'm just saying, it's not like they did it in broad daylight and they didn't like assault me to take my money.
So how did they take
grimy.
How did they take your money? How did a stripper get robbed in a strip club where money is like everything? So how did you get robbed?
Because the incident didn't take place in the strip club. Okay. There was, remember, like I said, I still believe in what I believe in. And like, according to my faith, like I always was still trying to be helpful to others. Mm-hmm. There was, after the pandemic or during the pandemic, a lot of people from a lot of different states came down to Miami to dance. Okay. So a lot of us were not from Miami, including me. I'm from Lake. So me not being from Miami and meeting these different girls and stuff like that, I'm a very cordial person. I don't want no drama with no one or anything.
Yeah.
So it was two girls that I met at the club, and needless to say, long story short, they ended up getting kicked out of that club that we were in, but we had already exchanged like numbers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I had a rental car, and I let the girl go up the road to get some dance shoes because she wasn't from there. So she thought that the house mom would be there with outfits and shoes, but it was early in the day. So the house mom wasn't there yet. That's how I got her contact information. After they got kicked out of that club, they called me the next day. They called me the next day and was like, "Hey girl, you should come up here to this club that we found yesterday. You know, it's a good spot and it's money in here. Like, I know you can make some money here." Like that. Okay. So I was just like, okay, I'll come. I came over there, and needless to say, it was some money in there. And I made some money. Okay. But like looking back, I feel like they knew I would make money there. So they tried to make it seem like they were being helpful. And then afterwards, when I gave them a ride, because we were just, like I said, we all weren't from there. We were going to just get a hotel room together. Yeah. So I gave them a ride that night after work. Like, they rode with me. Okay. I feel like when I went into the hotel with the one girl, the one that we left in the car, I feel like she went through my trunk and found my money. Oh. Wow. You get what I'm saying? So it's how not much like money? How much money did she take? Put a gun to my head or anything like that. Like, they had to plot that out. How much money did she take? Let me see. Like, that night I had only made like $1,300. I mean, that's not bad for one night. Some people can't even make that in 2 weeks. Yeah. So that one night they took that from me. I didn't realize it until the next day when I went into my trunk to look for my clothes so that I could change and stuff. I noticed that my trunk was kind of trash. Like, stuff was out of order. No. And my baby toys wasn't in her box no more. I don't have a baby. I have my little niece. Like, her toys weren't. Her toys weren't in her box no more. They was thrown all over the trunk. Mm. And so I looked in the bottom of that bag, and my money was gone. Because I didn't just leave it out. I'm not stupid. Like, I ain't just leave my money obvious where they could find. Matter of fact, I had went and hid my money before that night was even over at the club. But so they knew you had money, so they were trying to find any way to get it, and they found it. Right, yeah. Wow. I mean, I imagine you're a lot more cautious now about who you hang out with, especially in that, like, just line of nobody. Work. Nobody? Nobody. Like, after that, like, my cousin that I, like, stayed with here at home, if she went with me or whatever, like, we worked together, that's one thing. But, like, she's very loyal. I know she ain't gonna steal no money because we was making the money together. You and your cousin? Yeah. Your cousin was a stripper too? She just would do it occasionally when she just needs some extra money. She didn't, like, do it on a regular with me. Really? So what about friends and stuff? Like, who do you call friends? I don't really have a lot of friends. Why do you think that is? I don't know. Like, I like to move at the beat of my own drum, and I don't like to wait on nobody for nothing. So, like, okay. Like, hanging out and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just. Does that get lonely or? No, it doesn't, because it's like, a lot of them be wanting to hang out. Like, like I said, like, I do a lot. So I wouldn't really call them friends. I would call it associates. So whenever it's appropriate, if I can make time to show up or hang out or come to your event or go out to eat with you or go to the club, like, I don't have one set group of friends. Interesting. I'm like the person that, like, everybody likes. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't have, like, a set group of friends that I hang with and do stuff with. I mean, if you're comfortable with that, then by all means. And if it's not causing you any particular harm, then that's perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly fine. But my question to you is, like, what do you see for yourself long term? Because you said you went to school, or you're actively going to school. What are you studying? Nursing. You're studying nursing and you're in a hospital. Look at that. What a place to learn. So you're studying nursing, but you also
went to cosmetology school, right? So what do you? But you spent a majority of your time stripping while you were in college, right?
I worked regular 9 to 5 jobs, multiple jobs, and everything.
So you had multiple jobs, but you also were a stripper over the course of your like school years, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want for yourself? What's the goal?
My first long time goal would be the master's in nursing.
Okay, I respect it. My mom's a nurse.
So I work on becoming a nurse practitioner.
Oh, that's good.
So that's one of that's the number one goal for me. I just ended up doing cosmetology because I already was doing hair and I'm good at it. So I felt like, let me expand my horizon. So that's why I went to school for it. So that I can make more money. I mean, who wouldn't want to make a full paycheck in 2 days? Listen, just doing hair on the 2 days you choose to do hair.
I respect it. You're a hustler, and whatever you do to make your money, and if you can do it in a safe way that you can get home at night and still respect yourself, by all means. Right.
But so we're doing hair. It was days that I would do hair and make more money doing hair than I made at the strip club. Or something like I would do hair all day and be like, I'm gonna take these $40 and go pay the house fee and flip these $40 to make me some more money tonight.
Huh. Interesting. You're like a whole entrepreneur. You have like a cash register from so many different sources of income. Listen, I get it. But as you're going through this journey, right? Being a stripper who's also religious, and you also have this history with your family. Like, if you look back, is there anything that you wish you could have done different?
Maybe take a stripper more seriously.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very competitive and athletic, and I feel like I never reached I feel like I was never consistent enough with stripping to reach my athletic peak of being like a pole master. Like, I would want to be like a pole goddess and just go in the strip club and make like thousands of dollars easy in one night just off of the pole, because to be honest, like with dancing, a lot of girls that are more like that are more popular and they got that following that's been doing it a long time, it's easy for them to make money on the pole because a lot of people come to see them just for their fan base. Because
they're like doing acrobatics at this point. It's like a circus.
Right. And I would just like to just go in the club.
Okay.
And entertain on the pole. Like, just become a pole master, just entertain on the pole. And I wouldn't prefer to have to dance around on the floor, pretend like I like these people, and just grinding, going hard all night.
Okay, I would imagine the pole is a better friend than faking interest. I'll be honest with you, like, I don't like strip clubs, right? Not that I don't have anything against strippers. I mean, obviously, you're on my show. I have the utmost respect for you. I don't have anything against strippers. I don't have anything against people who go to strip clubs. But similar to how you just said it, is like, it's fake love, right? So when you're there as a guy, I sense that women are like smiling at you and touching you and, asking to spend time with you, when in reality they want your money. So that's a very like deceiving situation to put me in, right? And that makes me uncomfortable, right?
And I'm not finna sit up there and act like I like you, because you're gonna think I want to go home with you, and I'm not.
But you just said you don't like working the floors because you have to do that. So there's been times where you've had to fake interest in a guy in order for him to like pay you money, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you might not like doing that, but that was part of the job.
Yeah.
Did that mess with your head at any time, or?
Yeah, sometimes. Well, to be honest, like sometimes I would let the customer know that I didn't like them. Like, don't be touching me like that. Like, I'm just selling dances. Like, you want to dance or not?
Oh man, see, I never know. Like, okay, you're being respectful of your own personal boundaries, but are you also giving poor customer service? Like, it's a very thin line in the line of like, would you consider it sex work?
Yeah.
So it's a thin line in sex work for you to like create these boundaries for yourself while still trying to entertain these clients sexually. Like,
yeah, so sometimes like that would be a big conflict for me, and sometimes like it would be hard, and sometimes I just wouldn't have a good night because of it. But like other times, like what I learned, like some of the customers that became regulars for me were the ones that respected that about me.
got it.
And they just wanted, like, they just enjoyed looking at me and like just telling me I'm beautiful, and they just enjoyed me standing there dancing for them. They didn't have to try to disrespect me by touching my no-no zone.
Your no-no zone. I like the kindergarten terms you use on this podcast.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But let me ask you a question. Like, what was it like being a stripper during the pandemic? What were you stripping during the pandemic?
I'm not gonna lie. I danced a little during COVID.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. If I could go back, I would have danced the whole COVID because the strip clubs were flooded.
Really?
I don't know why they were open, but I remember one night seeing one of my girlfriends at a restaurant from dancing. She's like, "Girl, where you been at? We've been making $3,000 or $4,000 a night."
Really? Wait, why?
Like, huh?
Why is that?
Well, during the pandemic, there was a lot of unemployment, fraud, and PPP loans going out, and they were blowing it in the strip club.
Wait, hold up. Wait, hold up. So at the strip clubs that you would dance at, even though you didn't dance there enough, you're saying you should have danced more during the pandemic because strippers were making a lot more money during the pandemic because of people blowing their PPP loans.
Yep.
At the strip club?
Yes.
Where are my taxes going? Like, I'm paying all these taxes just to feed strip clubs. Okay, I don't even mind that it's feeding the strip clubs. I just have a high concern that you're sending all these checks to like these communities to like help feed kids and keep the lights on, and it's going to the strip club. I mean, technically it's keeping your lights on, right? As a stripper.
I mean, the strippers, their kids ain't got no worries.
So you wish you would have stripped more, but like, was there ever any concern for your like health and safety while this disease was spreading?
Like the first year of COVID is what I'm referring to. Like, and like you said, as far as like with me going back and forth with being a stripper and being a Christian, like I felt like I was at a place where I was like, I'm not gonna go back to the strip club, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But then you got unemployment money out here. You got PPP loans. Then my friends coming and telling me like, "Girl, you missing out at work. Where you been? We've been looking for you."
Really?
It's like I was having that conflict of going back and forth between like, am I really done or am I gonna do this one more time?
Really?
Yeah, and that's why I say, I mean, if I go back, I probably just did it because I ended up going back dancing anyway. But I went back, after the. But
you chose to like not do it that often because you didn't want to be out there that much due to the pandemic. But you regret.
No, I didn't want to be out there for faith reasons.
Because of what?
Faith reasons. It wasn't the pandemic. I wasn't scared of the pandemic. Obviously, I was out when the girl told me.
Wait, you didn't want to be in the strip club during the pandemic because of your faith?
No, I'm saying I was going through that. Like you said, basically like with me going back and forth with being a stripper and my faith, there were times that I would stop dancing and I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna do this no more. But it was almost like a addict, like how they binge and then
really?
Yeah.
So you were fighting the urge to be a stripper while holding your faith in God.
Yeah.
And what was that struggle like? What did that look like?
It looked like I just want to go to work for the money, but then it was like But God has always provided for me, so I'm gonna trust Him and wait.
So
versus the instant gratification of just going to work and having that money that I need right away.
So when you had moments where you stopped stripping, were you like struggling for money and then you quickly reverted back to stripping? Is that what happened?
No, that's when I would just do hair more.
That's when you what? Do hair more?
That's when I would just do hair more.
So you had money, but you still wanted to strip because it was addictive.
Yeah, it was fun. Like,
really?
It was fun. Like, I would enjoy myself.
Really? I mean, that's always good to know. Not that I'm congratulating you for choosing stripping when you're fighting against that in your faith, right? But like sometimes, like I had this idea. There's a stigma that like strippers are like, you know, they stem from, I guess, abusive past that like led them to becoming a stripper, and then it's a horrible life in a way because it's not like looked upon as something that is necessarily glamorous. It's just like you're a stripper. They look down on you. But the fact that you actually enjoy yourself doing it and you find value in it for yourself, and it's hopefully it's not ruining your esteem in any way, shape, or form. At least there's that. Because there's other people who probably could be.
You have to be mentally strong. You
right.
have to be mentally strong, and my faith is what kept me strong.
Wow, your religious faith kept you strong enough to be a stripper. The phrasing is just murdering my brain right now. Okay, but I get it. I respect it. But let me ask you a question in regards to the pandemic, right? You choosing to still dance during the pandemic, not as much, but you still were dancing during the pandemic. Your friends were definitely dancing a lot, making a lot of money during the pandemic as a stripper or as strippers. But right now, are you dancing still?
No.
You're not dancing. So right now you're in the hospital. Okay.
Even before this, I was no longer dancing.
So before
the last time I was dancing during the pandemic was last year. I had roommates that it was time for them to go. So I had to let my apartment go in order to get rid of them.
Really?
They left me with all of the bills, like the last month or two. They didn't really pay what they supposed to pay on time.
Really?
And my car went out on me. So that last round of me dancing, like I had to get myself out of a hole from that. And that's the only reason I went back, to get myself out of a hole with the bills, with trying to get me a car, and then like putting money up and stuff like that, just to keep me ahead of the game. Like I was working, but it wasn't going to be enough to recover that fast. So
that was
literally it.
When was the last time you danced?
Last time I danced, I would say like March, April
of this year.
Yeah.
And then in April, you made the decision to never dance again.
No.
No? So you said that was the last time
I did, but I didn't. I did, but once I got sick, I told God that I would never dance again, because my body is a temple and a living sacrifice, and I should treat it as such.
So let's talk about that. So you're in the hospital. What happened? Make sure you tune in next week, where you can hear the rest of the story from Zsa'Vell Hawkins, where she will explain her entire journey and why she's in the hospital during this whole interview. See you guys next week.